What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing another modification to my 2015 Ford F350 diesel. And what we're going to be installing today is the Sinister Diesel upper fuel filter conversion kit. So without further ado, let's jump in and let's get it done. Okay, so if we come over here and look under the hood, right here is where your upper fuel filter is located. Now there's typically going to be 2 or 3 fuel lines attached to it, depending on what year truck you have. Now I believe on some of the newer F350 diesels, there's 3 fuel lines going to it, but on this particular 2015 fuel filter, there's just 2. So basically the purpose of a fuel filter conversion kit is this. The stock fuel filter over here has these plastic nozzles that come off that your high pressure fuel lines are attached to. Now many people out there might argue that these plastic fuel lines coming off the fuel filter can potentially get brittle and crack and break under extreme pressure. And that could potentially cause some type of hazard or fire damage. Now, the chances of that happening is probably slim, but I don't like to really take a chance on that. So the Sinister Diesel fuel conversion kit will basically replace this top filter here with an aluminum cap that your high pressure fuel lines attach to. And then when you lift it up, you can actually twist on and off a replaceable filter underneath. So this is a very simple modification to do to your truck that should only take maybe 10 to 15 minutes to do, but it does give you a little peace of mind knowing that these nozzles coming off the top here are metal, not plastic, and will less likely break under extreme pressure compared to the plastic ones. Now, for some of you not familiar with Sinister Diesel, they have been around for a while. Their products are made in the US. And another thing I like about Sinister Diesel is that they actually listen to the consumer. I actually put this fuel filter conversion kit on my last 2023 F350 build, and it came with a cheap Wix filter. So I reached out to Sinister Diesel and explained to them that there are better filters out there, and they actually took my advice and started using better filters for their kits. So that just tells me that they are a good quality US company that really listens to their consumers. So enough talking about that. Let's go ahead and open this up, get it put together, and let's swap it out. Okay, so if we just go ahead and open this up real quick. Okay, all your products are going to come nicely packaged. Here is the new fuel filter that they include in here, which is this Baldwin filter, which has a much better micron rating compared to the old Wix filter that they used to include. So that right there is a definite improvement. And then down in here is some decals, some instructions, an extra nozzle. And in this package here, this is going to be your fuel filter conversion kit. Take it out of the package. This is basically what it's going to look like. Now, because I only have 2 nozzles in my truck, I'm going to have to use the enclosed plug to plug that 3rd nozzle. Now, for some of you out there that might have 3 high pressure fuel hoses, you're going to have to add the 3rd nozzle, which is over here. But for me, I just got to plug that. And then basically all you're doing is you're going to take your new filter, put a little bit of fuel on the rubber gasket here, slide it under here, thread it on just like that. And then we're just going to stick it back in place of the old filter, and now you have this really nice billet aluminum, all metal design, all metal nozzles here that aren't going to break or crack like you potentially could do to a plastic nozzle. So let me go ahead and get this plug put in, let me get my filter put in, and then we're going to go ahead and swap this out. So I'll be right back. Okay, so the first thing you want to do after you put your plug or your 3rd nozzle in, depending on your application, take some paper towel, shove it down underneath these nozzles. Because once you disconnect these nozzles down here, some of this fuel is going to end up dripping out, and then you can catch it on the paper towel or rag, whatever you want to use. So on these nozzles, there's going to be these little clips. So this particular clip here, you're just going to pinch the 2 little tabs here, push, and then the clip pulls out the bottom. Then just wiggle that off, just like that. You see some of the fuel drips out a little bit. That's why we have the paper towel or rag, whatever works. Now this particular clip over here, there's gonna be 2 little clips. You just kind of press them in and then wiggle that off as well. Okay, so now that we got that off, basically what you're doing is these 2 little clips on the side. There's a pinch clip right here and one on the other side. You pinch them in and then you just kind of tug and that eventually pops off. But again, these are high pressure fuel hoses that are being attached to these little plastic stems right here. So again, we put some paper towel down here to hold the residual fuel. And then on the fuel lid, you're going to turn it counterclockwise so that these stems are kind of facing back here a little bit. And then it just pops right out. So again, we're going to twist it a little bit like that. And then you're just going to basically lift it out. And that right there is your enclosed fuel filter. Now, typically when you're changing your fuel filters, there's an upper fuel filter up here, and then there's one down beneath below the truck. But this is basically a complete unit, and this is how you change your fuel filter. But again, I don't really like the idea of these plastic stems here, because again, we're dealing with fuel, and I don't ever want to take a chance of these breaking, so I like to replace them with a fuel filter conversion kit. So now that we move that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and open up our new Baldwin filter right here. Okay. And then basically, I'm going to take a little bit of fuel on my finger, maybe from one right like this, just dip it out. Okay. And we're just going to rub it on this rubber gasket just like that. Okay. And then we're going to twist it underneath our fuel filter conversion kit housing. Get a nice tight seal there, just like that. And then you'll see there's a little tiny rubber O-ring going around the bottom of this blue housing. That actually is what grips the inside of your housing over here to seat it into a nice firm position. And that's it. So now all we got to do is take our top piece here, slide it into position, just like that, and then we're going to reconnect our hoses. Now you might have to spin this left or right just slightly to get your hoses to line up, but once you do that, you take your hoses, pinch your clip, make sure you push it on all the way until you hear it click. Once you hear that click, give it a little bit of a tug to make sure it's not pulling off. That way you know it's seated on there correctly. Now we're going to take this fuel line here, same thing. Again, we're going to twist this a little bit, slide that on, push that clip up, and then pull on it. Make sure it's not going to pull off, because again, if these are not attached properly and you go start your truck to really get that fuel pressurized, it'll blow these off and squirt fuel everywhere. So again, you want to make sure these are seated on there nice and snug as they are, so we are good to go. Take our paper towel out of there, wipe off any little bit of fuel we might have dripped. And we are good. So that is what the Sinister Diesel fuel filter conversion kit looks like. It's very simple and easy to install. It's on there nice and snug. It's not going anywhere. It has the metal stems coming off. Your hoses will connect perfectly to it. Then moving forward, all you have to do to change this filter is disconnect your hoses, lift this up, twist off the bottom filter, put a new one on, twist it back on, put it back in, reconnect your hoses, and you're done. Very simple and easy. But now we have some peace of mind knowing that the stems are all metal and they're not going to break. So the next thing we need to do is come in the truck. Okay, put our keys in. Okay, and what we're going to do is just cycle the ignition on and off 2 or 3 times to let that fuel filter just start to pump some fuel through the system. Turn the key off, turn it back on. Turn it back off, turn it on, and then go ahead and start it. Now the first time you start it, it might be a little hesitant because again, we have to get fuel pumped into that filter to complete the cycle. But if you just take your key and turn it on and off a few times, that should do the trick. Okay, and if we come back up here, as you can see, there are no leaks and the fuel lines are properly attached and we are good to go. Okay, everybody, so there you go. So again, a very simple and easy install to your Ford F250 or F350 Super Duty diesel truck. So again, if you want to give yourself a little peace of mind knowing that your front upper fuel filter stems that your fuel lines attached to are metal and not plastic, definitely check out the Sinister Diesel fuel filter conversion kit because it's a great quality product. It works great. It's very easy to install. It looks awesome in the truck, and it's going to help protect your fuel system from those high pressure fuel lines from accidentally snapping off due to the plastic fuel filter housing design. But there you go. That's going to be it for today's video. I hope this video helps some of you out. Do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button and like this video. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And also do me a favor, subscribe to the channel because it definitely helps me out and I greatly appreciate it. So that's it. I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you. I truly appreciate you all. And as always, see you in the next video.